we're going to go through a pec fly dynamic isometric set. So for this exercise, we're going to be biasing the chest into this pec fly position, okay? And then from here, we're going to be challenging the shoulder joint through various movement variables. So for this exercise, there'll be the motion of challenging it by us moving our upper body to create this motion with the arm. There's also the elbow rotation, so rotating internally and externally. And there'll also be a sort of degree of how much you can maybe dump your body forward, so over the shoulder versus also backwards. Very sort of organic approach, and all of this can be done in combination. So I'm going to break this movement down into 3 parts. Part 1 being this sort of end range position for shoulder abduction. We'll start here, and then we'll start bringing it into position 2, which will be that sort of mid-range. And then final position will be where we're able to close and shorten things out a little bit more. Okay, so what you'll need is a box. The height of the box is something you can play with as well. So I'm going to run through a demonstration set. So I place my arm on the box. I'm out to the side. I like to create a slight eccentric to lower myself down. So from here, okay, I'm going to push down into the box, creating that pec fly motion. And that effort is what I want to actually hold as I work through the set. So I'm constantly thinking about doing this, driving down into the box as I'm moving throughout the sets. And how hard I push down into that box is one way that I can control the intensity of this exercise. So I'm here, have my arm out to the side. I start driving down, and then I lower myself with my upper body to the point where I'm starting to feel the front of the shoulder, bicep a little bit, chest is being loaded, being stretched, getting to my end range, holding that effort of creating an isometric of pushing into the box. I then begin to slowly move. So I'm now beginning to move forwards. I'm moving backwards. And then I can also do this in combination with changing elbow position. So right now I have my palm facing down. I could go into more of a neutral position. See how that begins to challenge the shoulder joint and nearby joints. I could do the opposite. I could even play with the angle of my elbow joint. So I could open up the elbow joint a bit more and see how that challenges the shoulder joint. I can even close it a little bit more and then do the same thing. I'm moving forwards and backwards, constantly pushing down into the box. As I move forwards and backwards, I can change. So I'm going forwards now, I'm leaning over a bit more. That will change how it stresses the shoulder. As I sit back, I can also come upright a little bit more. That will change how it stresses the shoulder. I'm beginning to fatigue, so I'm going to come up to that zone 2 I was talking about. Spend some time here. As I move back and forth, I can be constantly rotating the elbow as well. So there's plenty of variables that you can explore endlessly in combination. And now I'm starting to fatigue in this second zone, so I'll come up a little bit more, closer to my shoulder range, and then finish the rest of time there. So that is an example of a dynamic isometric. That was 1 slow rep, but it could be 1 to 3 reps. I demonstrated it beginning with all of this connective tissue here on the length. But there's no reason you could start the opposite way around. So you could start up here, begin this first zone up here, moving around, and then as you start to fatigue, move into that midpoint, and then for the final parts, be working at your end range. So there's a few options in terms of how you approach this exercise as well.